When I told Mitzi I made an 8-minute video tour just the greenhouse, she said, just the greenhouse, not the garden? So here's a quick tour of the garden. You got kale, zucchini, cucumbers, tomato. Really? I have video evidence now. That's how you sounded.
That's not how I sounded.
Just the greenhouse, not the garden.
Take an 8-minute video of my ducky.
Okay, there's a ducky pen. Little duckies are super cute.
Little baby ducky's having her first eggs.
And,
They're tiny.
And she's made like a little ducky playground out here, which is really just a bunch of shelter for the ducks because we did have a bald eagle coming around eating some of them. This is a little morning dance routine. The little head bob. Okay. Raspberries, the hops, green beans, tomatoes. I did an interesting experiment this year. At least I think it was interesting. I grew tomatoes like 4 different ways. Some I staked up with T-posts, some I staked up with cattle panels, some I stuck in the old traditional cheap tomato towers, and others I just let them grow sprawled out on the ground. Here's a sprawled out on the ground. And then I just kind of, picked them and kind of paid attention to what was doing the best and what was not. And it turns out the highest yielding plants of all the tomatoes were these guys that I just stuck them in the tomato tower, old school tomato tower, and I did nothing but maybe trim some of the leaves when they hit the ground, and even that I stopped doing. These did the best balance between the amount of work and the amount of yield. But if we go over here, okay, so the tomato tower had the highest yield per plant, in my opinion. But I only stuck one plant in one tower. Now, that's probably the best way to do it if you're going to buy little seeds, little starts at the co-op or, Home Depot or whatever when you're paying like $5 or $6 a plant. But if you're growing them from seed, this is actually quite efficient. This is about 6 plants that were grown from seed that I ran out of room in the garden, so I just popped them in. So I ran out of space to plant them all separately, so I put them right here in the dirt. Didn't do anything. Didn't even really particularly water them other than just what they happened to get from the sprinklers. And I probably got about 20-30 pounds of tomatoes from this little patch. So this is essentially what I would call zero work, and you still yield great results. It's very efficient if you're growing from seeds, where seeds cost you, a couple pennies each. So anyway, highly recommend this. I will be doing it again next year, but I'll also be doing the tomato towers because the tomato towers do tend to yield healthier, bigger fruit, but it comes at the expense of a little bit more work. This is a purple broccoli. I planted it this spring, late in the spring. It went all summer long. It never really put any flowers out on the head. It looks like it's starting to get some now. So we'll see how it does this fall. This is my beefsteak tomato. It did absolutely horrible. The tomatoes are all misshapen, and by the time they do get red, they're just too gross looking to eat. So we just feed them to the animals. Over there I got some snapdragons, I believe. Over here we got the Swiss chard. Man, I did not realize how good Swiss chard is. I am definitely growing some more. I ordered another couple hundred seeds. I'm gonna try to get them started this fall. Valerian, that's either dill or fennel. Celery, basil, and some more valerian root. Under here I have a row of broccoli. These are my zucchini. They are still fruiting like crazy. I'm just whacking away all the leaves that get this mold on it. I thought it'd be detrimental to the plants, but when I compared the plants that I do whack off all the moldy leaves, they are doing phenomenally well. So it doesn't seem to hurt the plants at all. My little accent zinnia, there's evidence right there that whacking away the leaves doesn't seem to do anything. More zucchini, more zinnias. This is the creeping thyme. This is the same stuff. It came from the same pots that I showed you in the garden or in the greenhouse, and you can see it is really, really great when you put it in the ground. And I mulched this entire thing with leaves from my backyard. This is just 1 weekend's worth of mowing, and fall has just started. So this is probably 2% of all the leaves that I have to deal with this fall. So it's fantastic for mulch, but my goodness, it is a lot of work. Okay, over here, I forget what this is. Mitzi keeps telling me. This is some more valerian root. Again, I grew the valerian root from seed, planted one bunch of it. It's taken off, and now every time it has little offshoots, Mitzi digs them up and plants them somewhere else. So it's spreading like crazy. Strawberries, another zucchini. This is a cool one. That's where all the leaves are, but you'll follow its vine. Over here is, oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera. Okay, there's the leaves, there's the vine, and there's where I planted it, and then there's another vine. This is the tomato that I planted, and I staked this one up, I trimmed it, I wrapped it around the string, lots and lots and lots of work. Same tomato that was planted that you looked at before that was in the tomato tower, but this one got hardly any tomatoes on it. We got some more zinnias. Over here is the Sweet Williams. This is the rest of the strawberry patch. There's this, you can see right here is the three moms. Everything else you see out there are just the baby strawberries from this season alone. If you just let them go and don't touch them, that's what you get. If you remember the kale tree that I had here, it was attached to this pole. We had two kale trees. They were about 4 or 5 feet tall. They went to seed, the seeds fell down, and you can see now we got some volunteer kale growing everywhere. And right there's a bok choy. I ran out of places to plant the bok choy this spring, and so I chucked a real pathetic looking weak one out of the 6-pack over here and just thought, what the heck. Literally didn't even bury it, just threw it on the ground, and it turns out it waited all summer long just to surprise me in the spring. Got some pansies here. We got some more celery, daisies in a pot, more celery, pansies, California poppies, regular chives, more Sweet Williams. This right here is a patch of all the leftover snow cauliflower and turnips. All the seed packs I had left over this year, I decided I'm no longer saving seeds for more than 2 years. Otherwise, the germination rate's too low. So any extra seeds I just kind of chuck in here and play the odds. If I chuck out 100, 200 seeds and I get 1% germination, that's great. I get 1 or 2 plants, I'm happy. This tomato experiment was probably the biggest bust of them all because it was the most work. I took probably a 10-15 gallon pot, buried it in the dirt, cut off the bottom, buried it in the dirt, filled it up with premium potting soil, put a tomato in it, put a nice trellis back there with the intentions of trellising it up so it'd be nice. And this is about a 4-foot tall trellis. I don't know, the thing, it just did horrible. I think I got probably 6 tomatoes off of it. You can see there's a couple of tomatoes right there. But anyway, this is a lot of work for very little result. This is my lettuce bed. Yeah, there's a lot of grass. This is what happens with all of my homemade compost. It just grows this lush, thick green grass wherever I spread it. And then, of course, the lettuce is doing great, but I don't know how well it's going to compete with all of that grass. We'll see. The good news is the grass dies pretty quick if I just cover it with plastic and let it sit there for a month or 2. Over here we got some snapdragons. Over here we have an open spot. I haven't decided what I'm going to plant there. You can see all the little holes in the ground. These are from what I think is the squirrels. My game camera is the disc is broken, so I got to buy a new disc. I got that today. It's in my office. I'll try to set that up. Here's some more dill or fennel. I can't remember. Here's my fall peas. Again, you can see that little grass sprouting up even throughout all my compost, just because, or sorry, even the grass is sprouting even through the mulch because my compost is just so vigorous. Little plant, little lavender plant. This thing did great all summer long. This is what I call our kale forest. I just took 4 different varieties of kale and chucked all the seeds out of here in the spring. Let it go, and it's been growing all summer long, and we've just been picking at it like crazy. What we don't eat, we feed to the animals. This is a weird little patch. This was originally, I planted machili cabbage seeds here. That's a valerian root. It was a transplanted plant, so it doesn't count. But I planted machili cabbage seeds here, nothing. 3 weeks later, I planted beet seeds here, nothing. I don't know what's going on here. My only concern is that I mixed in a whole bunch of bagged potting soil that I got from Home Depot, and I'm afraid there was something in that potting soil that's just prohibiting the seeds from sprouting. And I only mixed it up to right about here, so this valerian root is not impacted. So there may be some bad potting soil that I got, and it has me very concerned. This is the zucchini plant where I didn't do anything. I just let the mold just devour the leaves. And not really a fair comparison because I also stopped picking the zucchinis. So we got another 2 giant zucchinis over there, and I can see another giant zucchini back there. I think that that's another zucchini, or maybe it's even a squash plant of some sort. And let's see, we go right here. The cucumbers aren't doing so great. I think it's partially because I stopped watering them and I stopped fertilizing them. But you can see, oh, I got one gigantic one there, and I got a little short stumpy one there. These are the lemon cucumbers. Same thing, stopped watering them. I don't know why I did. Joshua comes out here and he grabs a cucumber almost every day. And then here's the tomatoes that I tried to vine. All right, I'm going to try to climb up another trellis. Not too good, and an awful lot of work. Ah yes, the grapes. The grape plant itself is doing wonderful. I've actually had to take the hedge trimmer to this thing to open up the space here and to give it some nice shape. I was very careful when I did all the trimming not to try to impact any of the grape production, but the thing produced only one little patch of grapes, and it's right down here. They started forming early in the spring. We had that heat wave. And then if you recall, after the heat wave, it went really cold for like another month or so. Well, the plant just continued to grow like crazy, but no grapes other than that one little cluster of maybe a dozen grapes right there. Nothing else. Very disappointing. These are my volunteer asparagus. I guess some birds brought some seeds over, but you can see, I don't know, my asparagus seems to go to seed every single year, and every year I get more and more and more little asparagus plants. So this is a cute spot for a volunteer, so I'm going to leave it. This is my carrot patch. This, I took my little tiny rototiller and I took all the dirt from there and I used the rototiller to pile it there, and then the same thing there, I piled it there. So this right here is about 16 inches of nice, fresh, loosely tilled soil. So I'm hoping these will be the best carrots I've ever grown this year. Over there, some more lavender. I already showed you the tomatoes that grow in the ground. This is a gooseberry. It's 3 years old. Haven't gotten a single berry yet. This is my horseradish dad that you gave me. And Jason warned me that it's going to spread like crazy, so I did. I cut this is another one of those 15-gallon pots. I cut the bottom of the pot off, sunk it in the ground, and so far it's being very well contained. We did pull out some horseradish root the other day, but I never got around to grating it or tasting it. And then over here I got a couple more rows of broccoli, and I think we're just about done. Over here, almost done. This is the last section. Over here, this was a whole patch of strawberries. Watered them, fertilized them, took really good care of them. Not a single strawberry. I don't know why. So I pulled them up and I planted lettuce. So this is a lettuce mixture. And oh, I also augmented the soil with some of my wonderful compost. And so you can see it's covered in grass again. Beautiful, thick, luscious grass amidst all the salad. So anyway, this is fun. There's another batch of strawberries. Again, did horrible this year. I'm going to pull them up again. I don't know what to plant there yet. We got some poppies, blueberry bush. I hate blueberry bushes. I love blueberries, but I can't get the bushes to grow. Some petunias, some of the leftover hops that I didn't have room for. And then there's my asparagus. And 2 rows of asparagus, and then back there you have some artichoke plants that were completely neglected this year. I think we cut maybe 1 head off and never even ate it. Everything else went to flower. But it's too far back here. It's too hard to get to because the asparagus just gets too tall and too unwieldy. Anyway, that's the tour of the garden. I'll let Mitzi know that it was a 14-minute tour of the garden, which seems about proportional. The greenhouse is much more dense, so it's not maybe not by space wise, but by content. I think 8 to 14 is a good ratio. Nobody should complain about that. Okay, bye. Have a great day.